So this is critically discussing the idea that PE is inclusive by Cameron and Grace. So first off, we'll start off with the history of inclusion. And it starts off in 1760, where the School for the Deaf was created. This is where deaf people could go to learn, such as sign language. In 1791, the School for the Blind was founded. This is where you could start learning things such as Braille. And then nearly 50 years later, in 1847, the Asylum for the Idiots was founded. And then, not long after that, in 1851, we could have physically disabled schools, so schools made for people who have physical disabilities, cripple homes, and girls could now go to school. Modern inclusion. What are the definitions of inclusion from, say, the present day to the 19th century? So in the 21st century, the present, inclusion is the practice of including people in a way that is for all, values everybody's differences, and empowers and enables people to be themselves and achieve their full potential in work, in school, in society. And then in the 19th century, which is very similar, inclusion refers to integrating students with disabilities into regular education so that they have the same educational opportunities as the rest of their peers. Models of inclusivity in PE. So we've got two models. We've got AIM, which stands for Activity Inclusive Model, and we've got STEM, Space, Task, Equipment, People. AIM has 4 factors to it: ability, activity, impairment, and environment. Through these 4 factors, teachers can adapt their lessons and make any modifications they need to their lessons based on these 4. STEP is a versatile tool for adapting sports and activities to many different age groups. It aims to structurally change lessons to include more diverse groups, such as people with different abilities, genders, or just ability in general. A massive drawback to this is that if you haven't got the facilities or funding or knowledge to use these models, then they're not as effective. Social norms. What are social norms? Social norms, something that society finds normal, that they believe is right, believe the way that something should be done or should be represented. For example, a social norm in PE would be that only boys can do football and only girls can do stuff like gymnastics and dance. Social exclusion. What is social exclusion? Social exclusion describes a situation where not everybody has equal access and opportunities to allow themselves to lead a decent, happy life. This includes not being able to have an input on the things you do, and where you live and how you do it. This in PE could be not having an input on wanting to play football if you're a girl, or not wanting to, or if you want to do gymnastics but you're not allowed because you're a boy. Impacts of social exclusion. It's like a big domino effect, and it starts very early on in PE, where there's this idea that only boys can do certain sports and girls can only do other certain sports. And social exclusion can lead to things like obesity, as nobody will know how to keep themselves fit and healthy, as they can't keep themselves active, because they've lost interest in it, because they've only been taught certain things. And it could include depletion in people going into sports jobs and fitness because they just have no interest in sports because they believe they'll only do the same things throughout life. Finally, the Equality Act of 2010 was it's there to legally protect people from discrimination in the workplace and wider society. It replaced previous anti-discrimination laws with a single act, making it easier to understand and strengthening protection in some situations. It sets out different ways in which it's unlawful to treat someone.
So this is criteria A. This is detailed information formulated through reading of the key theoretical concepts associated with issues such as gender, sex, ethnicity, and the class and the P curriculum. The major examples of social inequality include income gap, gender equality, healthcare and social class. Women in all sectors earn 24% less than men. International reports finds. The analysis, which looked at data from 54 countries across all geographic and income regions, found a raw gender pay gap of around 20%, which jumped to 24%, in factors such as age, education and working time are considered. Social class is to explore literature and theories referring to social class, identify and explore the relationship between physical and education and social class. This is detailed evidence of households from high cultural capital view expensive sports, those which involve a high cost of equipment and or participation fees. So what is social class? A social class is a grouping of people into a set of social categories, the most common being working class, middle class and upper class, so no lower class. What impact does social class have on PE? The higher the family social class, the more the college student's sports behaviour motivation tends to be healthy, health fun and highly motivated. The lower the family social class, the more the college student's sports behaviour motivation tends to be low. The Sports Council for Wales, which is SCW, found that the mean numbers of activities were marginally lower for students that received free school meals. Is PE inclusive for all social classes? In 2020, this Mail defined inclusion in the context of physical education as the construction of rich learning environments where all students, regardless of gender, disability, social class and race, can experience agency, success and joy through bodily movement. Overall, while there is a link between physical activity and social class, PE can help to fight this by giving students a well-rounded education in PE by using sports that all students may not be able to take part in. The history to the present with PE. In the 1800s, PE focused on gymnastics, hygiene and taking care of the human body. Although much of the end goals are the same, the way they get to these has changed substantially. PE has often been a great divider of pupils, those who were good at sports and those who were not. This created a large body of students reluctant to participate, such as people with disabilities or mental health issues. In the 20th century, several factors that have an effect on sports. Since the start of the 20th century, sports has become more organised. New rules have been developed and some sports revised to reform new ones. The value of games on the development of character was recognised as learned sportsmanship and leadership, and a willingness to obtain the rules emerged. In the 1800s, PE focused on gymnastics, hygiene and taking care of the human body, as I said in the previous slide. PE has often been a great divider for pupils, those who were good at sports and those who aren't. In the 20th century, several factors have been in effect on sports since the start of the 20th century. More people are not only playing but also watching. Sports have become more organised. The value of games on the development of